As we approach 7:20, time to bring in Nick Childress, private gym training, and get fit with Nick. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning, guys.
Good to see you.
How do you like our new pumped-up Get Fit microphones here?
They look super fancy. They're a little intimidating.
No, they're not intended to be
It's like having
intimidating.
a football in your face.
That's good. Well, yesterday the folks from Jonesboro Repertory Theater were here, and they sort of went, "Oh my gosh, what's changed here?" So,
Yeah, it's amazing how it makes folks sit back a little bit more.
Yeah.
No, just get right up at home there.
That's right. So Get Fit with Nick, personal one-on-one training from private gym training. Nick joins us each Wednesday about this time to talk about the various aspects of one-on-one training, too. So what have you got for us this morning, Nick?
Well, today I want to start talking about some of the reasons that we're overweight. And people perceive these as obstacles, but how you perceive an obstacle is really more important than the actual obstacle.
Interesting.
If you see something as an obstacle that you can't affect in any way, you're going to let it kind of take over and dictate what you do or what you don't do.
Is this one of these emotions over facts sort of things, feelings over facts?
No, it's really getting the right set of facts.
Okay,
People
very good.
perceive facts. They have different sets of facts. Some people would say some of these are excuses. Some of them can't be altered. Some of them can be altered a lot, and some of them are in between. And I imagine it's going to take a few weeks to get through this list. But I'm going to give you some ways that you can rethink some of these ideas if you're thinking, well, this is what's stopping me from losing weight, from exercising, from dieting, and this is why, it's hopeless if I try and that sort of thing. Because I think a lot of people that have tried and failed or not tried at all, they let these obstacles become insurmountable. And they're really just dials on a machine that you can change. You may not be able to change them as much as somebody else, but you can affect them.
I've heard a lot of people make the statement, Nick, that it's so much easier to put it on than to take it off, and they just feel like it's futile. It's they give up, I guess.
Yeah, your body is designed to put it on. So anytime that you try and fight what your body naturally wants to do, it's a lot harder, and it's slower. So yeah, it's definitely more difficult one way than the other.
How do individuals bust through, if you will, this sort of self-imposed limitation?
Well, we're going to have to take each one.
Okay.
And the first one that I want to talk about is genetics. I mean, we've all seen these skinny as a rail people that can eat anything they want. And we've all seen people that eat a decent diet. They're not crazy. They're not going out to buffets every night, and are still very overweight. And genetics plays a huge part in what you can do. Part of that is your gender, and some people are under the mistaken impression, skinny people I will say, some of them may be under the mistaken impression that your weight is simply dictated by your behavior, what you eat, and your exercise. And that's not true. And one way that we can make that very obvious is by looking at men and women. Women tend to store much more body fat than men. They're supposed to have it.
Because of the childbearing capability?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And when you get down to dieting, women aren't able to get down as low in body fat percentage as men. It's much harder for them to get anywhere near those kinds of numbers, and it's unhealthy for them.
Okay.
So if you take that knowledge and apply it to males or females, you're going to immediately realize that there must be variation within the sex as well. And clearly there is. I mean, some people are born into families that are very large. My family on my dad's side was 400 pounds, pretty much all of them.
Wow.
The problem is that a propensity to be overweight becomes tied in with the behavior. Some of the family members are not even going to try any kind of diet. They're just going to kind of give up and eat what they want. And then that becomes behavioral. And then you tie that into the genetics and becomes this large loop. And you have a child born into that, and they don't know anything different. And so we've got to separate what is genetics from what is behavioral.
Okay.
And your genetics, think of yourself as like a car engine. Some people are born with a 2-cylinder, which means they only need a little bit of gas. And some people are born with an 8-cylinder, which means they'll just eat through the gas no matter how much you put in, pedal to the metal, and they'll just chew right through it. But as a person, you have the ability to put your foot on the gas. And even if you're a 2-cylinder, you can really rev that engine and chew through some gas. And That's what we kind of do with exercise is we get that engine revving so that you can eat more gas. It's not always about eating less. In fact, my clients, once they get through a longer program, they actually end up eating more than sometimes what they used to eat because their engine is revved. Now, they may never be an 8-cylinder that can go out and eat pizza every day.
But the demand by the body is increased.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So you have control over simple things like that. That no matter where you're from, what your background is, you can alter it. You're not stuck with the genetics that you feel may be controlling your life because they're not really in control. There's a range that you can hit, and you can modify it.
And your own personal story indicates that as well, too. Am I correct there?
Yeah. At 5 years old, I was in the top 1 percentile for weight for kids of my age, and pretty much stayed that way until I was about 20 years old. So, if anybody was born fat, I was in that group, and of course I had the family lifestyle and stuff going against me too. And part of what I realized is when I broke away from the family, out on my own in college and stuff like that, is that the genetics wasn't as important as the behavior. So if you feel like you're being tied down by people around you, and that may be part of your issue more so than the actual DNA in your blood.
Fascinating. Getting fit with Nick involves a lot more than just simply fuel in and fuel out sort of thing, too. There's a whole lot more to it than we tend to think about it. At least that's my impression. And I find myself every week, Tim, I don't know about you, but really educated. Find myself learning a lot from Nick. Nick Childress here with Private Gym Training. We call it Get Fit with Nick. How can people who are interested in this find out more about it? How do they get in touch?
Well, you can call me at 430-8089. That's 430-8089. You can also go to privategymtraining.com. And my specialty is weight loss. I provide one-on-one personal training as well as meal planning assistance. And if you're looking for a private gym where it's just you have the gym to yourself, no waiting for equipment, listen to your own music, no self-consciousness. If you want that environment to work out in, then definitely contact me.
That's great. One more time, the phone number?
430-8089.
Very good. Nick, talk to you next week.
Thank you.